Hello there, novel gamers like I am, or those who are viewers only. Welcome back for more of A Winter's Daydream, as we are going to continue our story in progress to pick up from where we left off, and Yumeko likes to eat icy cold dessert. So let's see it! And now she is going to enjoy this! My grandmother smiles blithely, cupping her cheek with one hand as she lets the vanilla ice cream melt across her tongue. I watch her over the rim of my coffee cup as I take a sip. After we finish shopping, we decided to go to a small cafe to sit down and relax. Or to be more precise, my grandmother decided to go to a small cafe to sit down and relax. It works! I just tag along, because what other choice did I have? This isn't the same cafe my grandmother used to frequent with my grandfather, however. Unlike the homey Parsley Cafe of my grandmother's memories, this cafe is relatively new. Though when I say new, it should be taken with a pinch of salt. In Tokyo, buildings are constructed every day, far more than one could ever count, but in my sleepy corner of the world, what constitutes as new or novel is a little different. It's been a while, but I have vague memories of this place and its flower-shaped tabletops. I think my parents took me and Otoko here a few times when we were little. If my memories can be trusted, and I like to think they can, I hope I don't have dementia just yet. This place must be at least a decade old. I don't think my grandmother has been here before, though. And it stands to the reason that she wouldn't have. This cafe is obviously intended for youngsters, and the decor is a little more modern than that of the other stores in my town. Unlike the other cafes, this place doesn't serve traditional Japanese snacks and green tea. Green tea is still listed on the menu, of course, but most people come here for the coffee and the cakes. The cakes are distinctly Western theme: cheesecake, carrot cake, and chocolate gâteau. They even carry strawberry tarts, glacies. I think that's kind of like French name. I cannot tell. Maybe, but that's just me. And little macaroons. Macarons. Okay, I give up. I can read macarons or macaroons or macadamia nuts. There, I can put in words. I'm not terrible at reading, okay, because I like reading. The cakes and pastries are arranged neatly behind the counter. The strawberries on the fruits tarts glisten beneath the bright lights, and the thick slices of chocolate cake have been sprinkled liberally with curls of white chocolate and cocoa powder. Delicious though the cakes look, my grandmother decided to pass them by. She said cake was too heavy, and she wanted to watch her figure. It's been changing far too much lately. And with that, she settled on a fruit parfait instead. My grandmother said the parfait was a light snack, but it's quite the formidable mound of ice cream. Are you sure you'll be able to eat all that? I know, but I don't want you to regret it later. Okay, what? My grandmother pauses and glances down at her brand new body with its smooth skin and slender, shapely fingers. Whatever you say, just don't make yourself sick. What? No. My face flushes a little from shame. Though my grandmother said it lightly, with a small smile on her lips, I rather think she just scolded me. I tipped my head, setting my coffee cup back on my saucer with a soft clink. I'm sorry. All of it? Wow, okay. My grandmother looks at me slyly from beneath her eyelashes. What? You do realize that you two are not both alone and everybody's watching because you two are like the couple, which you aren't the couple, but you are because I find it cute. And it's like... No thanks, I'm good. Sharing a parfait with a pretty young lady might sound like an attractive idea, but that's only if said young woman isn't your grandmother. And for crying out loud, you need to live a little. It's just for kicks that way, which I don't know why, but I love it. I absolutely love it. That ruins the fantasy somewhat. Maybe for you, but not for me. Yay! My grandmother dips her spoon into the parfait and brings it to her lips. I'll take your word for it. I take another sip of my black coffee. My grandmother watches me curiously. I'm good, thank you. Oh no, you don't. You do realize they're watching you? This is my treat. Because you always look out for me, I don't mind paying. Strain my finances, and well, she does have a point. Well, I shifted my seat. My leg brushes against the plastic bag lying beneath my chair, which rustles. Though the pins I bought were already all rather shiny, the shopkeeper at Tamayura didn't have any suitably small bags to stash it away in. I had to settle for a large, bulky bag instead. My grandmother's kimono and obi rests in a similar plastic bag beneath her chair, folded neatly so they don't get creased. The pins were expensive, I guess, but... Okay. How did she know I was worrying about the exact same thing? Yeah, what she said. I don't really like being pampered, even if I am Kirito or not. I've been living on my own for several months, and I'm capable of looking after myself now. At least, that's what I like to tell myself. But how can I turn down my grandmother's kindness when she looks so earnest? In the end, all I can do is acquiesce, sighing in defeat as I do so. Alright, if it'll make you happy, you can do what you want. My grandmother nods her head, her braids bouncing like she is the cutest young lady in all of Japan because she's really hot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know why I said that, but to be honest, it's what it is, and I can't help it. Curse you, Peter Venkman! Why did I inherit your trait? Why? I did not want to become a ladies' man, Peter Venkman, but instead I inherited your trait from Ghostbusters. Why can't I become a Ghostbusters like Ray, Winston, and Egon? Ugh. Can anybody, come on you guys, can I have a different trait like Ray, Winston, and Egon from Ghostbusters if you guys are watching? Come on, say yes, say yes, say yes! But why Peter Venkman's trait as a ladies' man? I mean, it's just math. Her smile is so bright it's almost dazzling. I'm not sure why she looks so happy when all I did was allow her the grand honor of spending money on me. But I guess my grandmother is the kind of woman who likes looking after others. I do wonder if that's why she brought Lisette from that specialty doll shop in France. Is it because she wanted a little young lady to spoil? It's a shame she ended up with my dad instead. My dad sounds like he was a regular menace in his youth. He certainly didn't like being fussed over, and he was forever darting around with a dirty face and bruises on his knees. If my grandmother wants to dote on me while she can, I should let her. It won't do any damage, and I didn't buy anything expensive. Letting a woman pay for my drink seems a bit ungentlemanly. But this isn't just any woman. No matter how young she looks, she's still my grandmother, and this is only a cup of coffee. I guess this isn't such a huge indignity to suffer. My grandmother glances at the display of cakes with a twinkle in her eyes. Jeez, I guess I should have seen this coming. I don't really want anything else. But I'm not a big fan of sweets. Okay. So you just want to satisfy your own curiosity? So much for wanting to dote on her only grandson. How shameless. Thanks a lot. Now I know what it goes like to a convention. I guess if my grandmother wants to order more food to cover our table in pretty decorations, I can't complain too much. It's her money she'll be spending, not mine. Plus, if I had my own snack to pick at, I might make this situation look less awkward. One young man, one young lady, and one parfait in the middle of the table. What are people going to think? Of course it looks like a date. That's because it is one, you knucklehead. Wow. Woo! The waitress gave us a knowing smile and a wink when she brought the parfait to our table, as though she expected us to start exchanging bites of ice cream and indirect kisses in front of everyone. Which everybody was waiting for. At the cafe, at a table, in public. If you want to spend money on me so badly, then... What did I used to have when I came here with my parents in Otoko? What should I choose? Let's see. What do I want? Cheesecake, chocolate cake, a chocolate roll. Oh, I bet someone would like those in a video like such as this. Sounds too rich for me, and the slices of cake here are so big. I've eaten out too much in Tokyo over the last year. I have to try and shed some of this excess weight, or Otoko will never stop teasing me. Maybe a lemon bar? That sounds like the healthiest option. My grandmother, however, doesn't look particularly happy with my choice. She pouts like a little youngling, folds her arms across her chest. But I'm trying to shed some weight off. I'm living plenty as it is, thank you very much. Thank you, honey. My grandmother smiles and shakes her head. How is wanting a lemon bar contrarian? My grandmother doesn't elaborate on this point. Instead, she calls a waitress over and appends the lemon bar onto our order. The waitress nods her head and jots my order down in her notepad, and she gives me a weird look as she does so. Like a funny look as she does so. Maybe she's wondering why I'm making my soulmate order on my behalf, and if she is, I can't exactly fault her for it as much as I like to. This cafe is popular with younger people, including couples. There are several couples sitting in the circular tables about us, sharing parfaits and looking at one another wistfully. When I meant the word in public, I was right earlier. And guess what? That makes me righter. Put that in your next update. Me and my grandmother must look just like them. This is so wrong. But actually, this is so good. I love it. I groaned. Nothing. I want mommy. Explaining it would be too far embarrassing. A piece of caramel shortbread instead, or maybe something a bit more chocolate. You do realize everybody's looking at you because you and her are a couple, because... Way to go, you! That's how you build a harem! She's trying to sound concerned, but she looks so hopeful. Her true intentions are immediately obvious. You are so transparent. If you want to try the caramel shortbread that badly, why didn't you just order it for yourself? Yes, well, go and do it then. Don't let me stop you. My grandmother pouts. No, I'm not. What? You love me so much you need to teach me a lesson? And what would that be, huh? Ow! The grandmother kicks me beneath the table, sticks out her tongue. I glare at her. And what's that? And what's that supposed to teach me? Oh! Oh! Pull my arms across my chest and try to ignore the smarting in my thigh. Ah! My grandmother's always been a mischievous woman. She likes playing pranks on people. Her body might have reverted to that of her teenage years, but her mind is just the same as ever. In fact, I think she's even worse now. It's a miracle I've been able to survive this long. What trials and tribulations will I be able to put up through next? Okay, who would that be coming out the door, out the front door of this cafe? Door opens with a thud, the bell dings, signaling the arrival of another customer. 2 customers, in fact. Oh no! What a worse time to see this! One is a young lady with curly, honey brown hair, obviously dyed. Her darker roots are starting to show through near the top of her head. The other young lady has dark, straight hair, very long fingernails, and a small scowl on her face. Great. Like I said, not the best time. I know that scowl. I know that. I know who she is. I know. It's... And that is her friend, Emiri. Oh, blight? Okay. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I knew this feels like E10 and up. What? Great. She believes I don't even care. Why would I be in... Oh, Toko pauses. She looks at me, her heavily made up eyes narrowing thanks to the large amount of mascara she always wears. When she narrows her eyes, they narrow most impressively. There's nothing more threatening in this world than Otoko's glares. She really puts her all into them. She's all but hisses my name, like it's some kind of contagious disease. What am I doing here? Is that really the greeting I deserve? Being an older brother is so depressing. Hey there, Otoko. I'm sorry. Hi, Otome, and hi, Emiri. Nakamura Emiri. Mr. Nakamura's daughter looks at me with mistrustful eyes. She doesn't wear quite as much makeup as Otoko, and it isn't as expertly applied, so her sideways glance is a little lacking in outright malice, but it's still frosty enough. The temperature in this cafe seemed to have dropped a good 5 degrees. She raises a good point. How can I talk my way out of this one? I know it's what I said, but... No! I wasn't lying. I did go see Grandma, but... And who's this? Otoko gestures towards her grandmother, who she obviously doesn't recognize. Well, I guess the whole "she's my cousin" line I use on the shopkeeper at the antique store won't work there. Otoko is my little sister, and she knows just as well as I do that we don't have any cousins who look like this. Otoko peers at our grandmother curiously. Are you serious? I mean... Of course she looks similar. She's our own grandmother for... Though she's changed quite a bit from the woman she used to be. With her wrinkled neck and her trembling, spider-like hands, she's still our flesh and blood. She has a little bit of Otoko about her, actually. They have the same nose, similar mouths, and the strikingly dark eyes both Otoko and I possess. Oh, well, she doesn't live around here, which you are right. He can't help knowing people. He's a bus driver. Secretly, however, I agree with Emiri's assessment. I do think Mr. Nakamura is a bit of a busybody. The embarrassing questions he asked me earlier didn't help his case. My grandmother ducks her head, pressing a hand against her mouth. I think she's trying not to laugh, but Emiri obviously interprets her silence as shyness. Though Emiri looks like the kind of lady who go to parties every other day, she isn't. I know, because she's my little sister's friend, and she spent most of her teenage years at our house watching talent shows on TV with Otoko. Emiri, despite her sharp makeup and her sharper tongue, is actually something of a sweetheart. She's nicer to me than Otoko is. Then again, most people are nicer to me than Otoko is. Keeping her a secret? The thing is... And she... yeah. Wow! Way to add this into the mix. Emiri's looking at my grandmother with such awe. You think she's the second coming of Christ? Please. I know that, but to be honest, she had that interesting look. But I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I really am. Forgive me. That was very impolite of me. People who hail from the city are regarded as superior species around these parts, particularly amongst these young women like Emiri and Otoko, who follow fashion magazines with religious zeal and make a point of ordering all their clothes and shoes online. Her accent isn't right? Miri's sharper than she looks. She's managed to outsleuth her own father in only a matter of seconds. Then again, it's natural and Miri would be able to tell the difference. She and Otoko were forever talking about TV dramas set in the city. From what I can remember, it's true too. People from the city really do talk differently than people from tiny towns like ours. Oh, Toko's lips purse together. She doesn't look convinced. What? No, this is not going to go so well. Hey now, don't you think you are being unfair? I wasn't keeping a secret. Why do you even care? I didn't think you had any interest in my personal life. You act like you can't stand being around me half the time. My fingers, which are resting on my lap beneath the table, start to clench. I'm getting riled up despite myself. I want to remain calm and level-headed, but that's a Herculean task when I'm with Otoko. She has a way of glaring at me like I'm nothing more than a piece of trash on a street corner. She doesn't even look at me in the eyes when we speak. Not properly. It's like she can't bear to be in the same room as me. Why do you always have to blow things out of proportion? You just want to be angry for the sake of being angry. I get that you don't like me, and we're never gotten along, but you don't need to turn everything into such a drama! I shouldn't need to ask your permission before I talk to another young lady. Otoko, I don't see how it has anything to do with you. Like you care, why don't you just... With my mouth, ready to retort with something stupid and hurtful and not entirely well thought through when... My grandmother rests a restraining hand on my shoulder. I blink. The red haze fades from my vision. Slowly, I'm pulled back into reality, but I can't call reality all that welcoming. My new reality is cold, prickly, and unpleasant. My grandmother's fruit parfait is slowly melting. All the patrons of this cafe are glaring at me. So I sighed. I don't like being at the center of attention. Makes me feel awkward and uncomfortable. I'm sorry, Otoko. I didn't mean it like that. It was just... She glances at our grandmother. Otoko... Otoko glances at me. And with that, both Amiri and Otoko take their leave. The door thuds behind them. Otoko isn't the kind of person who minds her manners and the bell rings. In their absence, the cafe suddenly seemed a lot quieter. Very quiet, like maybe it's because everyone's still watching us. Staring into my cup of black coffee, my reflection stares back at me, looks as tired as I feel. My grandmother's parfait has melted into a lukewarm puddle of fruit-flecked sludge at the bottom of her glass, and my coffee's stone cold. Fantastic. I sighed deeply. And I even went out on my way to buy a present for Otoko too. Just wanted us to get along a little better. So much for that wish. After that dramatic incident in the cafe, all that greatness seems to vanish from my shopping trip with my grandmother. I down my cold coffee in one gulp and consume my lemon bar in 2 bites. As it turns out, the second bite is a bit too big for me to manage and I choke. My grandmother has to reach across the table and pat me on the back, which is more than a little embarrassing. I should be old enough by now to eat my food unaided. Then, after meandering around a few more shops, no longer with any real aim or purpose, the two of us go back to my grandmother's home. Sounds simple when I say it like that, but the reality is anything but. The bus is back to my grandmother's small village run infrequently, especially during the winter months when snow and ice coated the road. The bus only makes the long, slow run from the village to the town twice a day, and this afternoon it's more than half an hour late. Fortunately, it isn't snowing, but it's very cold, and my fingers feel as though they are about to drop off, particularly those gripping the carrier bag that contains Otoko's presents. I doubt Otoko will even care about her gift. I was being foolish when I bought it for her. I let myself get swept away in a brief, flickering moment of sentimentality. If I had half a brain, I'd realize my little sister doesn't care for sentiment. It matters as much to her old-fashioned jewelry from the 1920s. Which is to say, not a lot. Well, we all make mistakes. After another journey that lasts 2 hours, during which we get bumped about inside an old bus and that smells more than a little musty, my grandmother and I finally returned home. Now, I'm sitting in my grandmother's living room, my legs beneath the kotatsu, my eyes strained on the sky beyond the window. It's already dark. My grandmother and I didn't go out for all that long. All told, our little excursion lasted about 3 hours. But that's before you account for the extra 4 hours we spent on the bus traveling there and back. All of a sudden, it seems like we had an incredibly busy day, and it doesn't help that I haven't had much to eat. Breakfast feels like a century ago, and the lemon bar I was treated to at my grandmother's insistence was hardly enough to fill me. I sighed. My grandmother, who's sitting opposite me at the kotatsu, gives me a questioning look. Am I alright? Is what she tells me. I'm fine. Must be that time of year. I glance at the clock on my grandmother's wall. It's an old clock. Not quite as old as my grandmother, though. And it always seems to be either 5 minutes too slow or 5 minutes too fast. It's loud, too. The movement of the clock hands fills the house with a series of slow, steady tick-tick-ticks. According to the clock, it's 5:30 in the evening. I don't know if I entirely trust it, but it's probably not that inaccurate. This clock isn't in the habit of outright swindling people out of their hours. Instead, it just makes several minute more easily forgivable mistakes. When do you want to go to the Jinguji Shrine? I thought you want to get there as soon as possible. My grandmother shakes her head. Afraid? What do you have to be afraid about? My grandmother traces a pattern against the tabletop with her fingers. Because you won't know until you go for yourself. I'm just trying to be sensible. My grandmother nods her head as though common sense is an old acquaintance of hers. So it really, I see. You said that earlier back then. Only a little more good detail. Only something that's hidden. Plays and books have to come from somewhere. They don't materialize overnight. People dream them into existence. This situation is so amazing. If you told anybody, they think you were making up stories. It's not every day an old woman wakes up to discover she's a teenage young lady again. A small silence elapses. My grandmother frowns once more, her expression thoughtful, and drums her fingers against the wooden tops of the kotatsu. Christmas isn't a real Japanese holiday anyway. We borrowed it from the West. Like Otoko's favorite pair of white strappy heels, it's all imported. The oranges in my grandmother's fruit bowl, however, are locally grown. I peel the orange slowly, removing all the white pith. I'm fairly good at precise, finicky things like this. Back at home, when I still lived at home, my mother would always ask me to lend a hand when she peeled carrots or potatoes, and my dad got me to remove the pith from his oranges in the winter. I guess skinning fruits and vegetables is my special talent. Not that it's much of a talent. As I peel the orange, trying not to get my fingers sticky, I ask, "So are you going to the shrine?" Was it very expensive? My grandmother presses a finger against her lips. Really? You are a naughty young lady, Yumeko. You should listen to your parents. My grandmother laughs and glances at the plastic bag from Tamayuro she left resting by Lisette's cupboard. I thought you didn't care what other people think about you. My grandmother sighs softly as her eyes linger on grandfather's shrine. His frozen face, surrounded by a wooden frame, looks back at us. He's smiling brightly. If I was more taken to flights of fancy than I am, I might presume his smiling face is some kind of sign. She say, "Come on, you mecha old gal! What are you waiting for? Don't you want to see me again?" If my grandfather were here in this very room, I bet he'd say something like that. And he'd probably ask me to peel him an orange. Was the sky full of stars when you first met Grandpa? Sounds like he was trying to impress you. I guess nothing can come between young love. That sounds like a good idea. I know, it's still picking at my orange. So, I would say this is a good stopping point from here on out. And don't you worry, I believe we are going to continue to pick up from where we left off, and thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and tell me, what do you guys think of A Winter's Daydream? Do you like it or hate it? Mash that like button or share this video if you guys love novel games such as this, or such as myself perhaps. This is Leo Wolverine saying and speaking as always as your friendly neighborhood spider cop and also your Master Chief, and celebrating Autism Awareness Month for the entire month of April, wearing the colors red, yellow, and blue all month long. Godspeed, play safe, and shalom. Remember to fight with honor, love, truth, and justice, and also friendship is magic. Always. See you guys next time for more of A Winter's Daydream.